All right, now we can get started. So today, we'll be looking at two different Bible scriptures, two different Bible passages. The first comes from Mark chapter 8 and verse 36. So go and kind of hold your thumb there, hold your place there in your Bible. Mark 8:36. And the other one comes from Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23. So Mark 8:36 is where we'll be first, and then we will look at Proverbs 4:23. All right, as y'all are flipping to those, we began this Running on Empty series last week by talking about the warning lights that we see on our cars, on our vehicles' dashboards. We said last week, we found out last week that warning lights aren't signs of failure. They're little signs calling for our attention. Talking about the lights, they don't mean most of the time that the car is done. They mean something under the hood needs care, or that our gas tank needs to be topped off. It needs to be filled up. Hey, in the same way, exhaustion, tiredness in our lives is often a warning light. It's, however, not a verdict. It's not a verdict. It's God's way of getting our attention before something deeper breaks down. When we experience exhaustion, when we experience tiredness. Today's message is titled, What's Draining Your Soul? What's draining your soul? Because, many of us, we do feel tired, especially on a gloomy, rainy day like today. We feel tired. We feel worn down. Not because life is hard, but because our hearts are unprotected. We are tired on a level that sleep just doesn't fix. And that kind of exhaustion, friends, usually reveals more than busy schedules. It reveals what we have allowed to shape our priorities, our identity, and our emotions over time. Jesus gets right to the heart of this in that Mark 8:36 passage when he asks the question, what good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? That question exposes the hidden cost of living without soul awareness. We can be productive. We can be successful. We can also be admired and still be losing something on the inside. Life, y'all, it can look full. Our life can look full on the outside, while the soul quietly runs dry on the inside. Then let's look at our Proverbs passage. This is what Solomon wrote. In chapter 4, in verse 23, there in the book of Proverbs, Solomon gives us the wisdom side of this conversation. In that particular verse, we read this, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Solomon shows us how the soul is protected, not by doing more, but by guarding what shapes us, what shapes you, what shapes me on the inside. The heart, our heart, Scripture says, is the source. The heart is the source. When the heart is unguarded, life eventually feels unmanageable. When the heart is unguarded. Hey, here's the big idea for today's message. When the heart goes unguarded, the soul gets drained. But when the heart is guarded, life begins to flow again. Together, these two verses, the two verses that we'll be looking at today and we've already looked at, they frame the question we're asking ourselves this morning. You might be asking yourself already, what's draining my soul? What is draining my soul? And have I been guarding my heart? Over these next few moments during the sermon today, we'll begin to identify some of the most common soul drainers and how God invites us, how he invites you, how he invites me just to live differently. All right, let's get started with the first main point this morning. The first one is titled, Guard Your Heart from Overcommitment. Guard your heart from overcommitment. When we talk about this, when we talk about overcommitment, we're not talking about bad things. We're not talking about bad things. We're talking about good things, talking about necessary things, important things, and even meaningful things. Things that slowly begin to demand more than what they should. Think about what is filling your life right now. What are you doing? What are you doing in this season of your life? What are you doing like your normal day-to-day? Because Chuck talked about going to the gym. What else are you doing? What are you doing in your life? Maybe there's work responsibilities. If you are a parent or a grandparent, maybe there's school schedules that you have to keep up with. If you have kids or grandkids involved with sports, maybe there's sports. Maybe there's practices. Maybe there's games that you have to go to. Maybe there's meetings. Meetings not just with kids, but meetings that you have to go to. Maybe there's, get this, church activities. Church worship services, church functions that you have to go to. Family obligations. Social events. All this can add up quick. And I'm personally getting tired just looking at the list of things that I just read out to you. It's a lot. Life throws a lot at us. Think about the average family that still has kids in the home. Think about those families. Mornings, they start early, especially when school is going on. Mornings start early. And they feel often rushed. They feel rushed. Evenings, let's talk about them. They spent from going from one activity to the next in the evening. Weekends. Oh man, let's talk about weekends. What once meant rest, talking about the weekend, is now filled with tournaments, with projects, with deadlines, and with other obligations. That's the weekend. Folks, calendars stay full. Our phones, they stay busy. And everyone in that family, and the family I just kind of described to you, everyone is feeling tired. And somewhere along the way, life begins to feel like a series of appointments, instead of something that just needs to be lived. Maybe some of your lives feel like it's just a series of appointments and things that fill up your calendar, instead of something that just needs to be lived. This thing we're talking about, overcommitment, it happens when urgency replaces discernment. Overcommitment happens when urgency replaces discernment. It's like, everything you do feels important. Everything feels immediate. Everything feels like it needs a yes right now, right at the present. And when urgency is driving our decisions, we stop asking the deep questions like, hey, is this thing I'm doing that's on my calendar, is it necessary? Is this healthy? Is this what God is asking of me right now in my life or in this season? Instead of being led, we are just reacting. We are just reacting. You know, a full calendar has a quiet way of crowding out what matters most. It doesn't usually happen all at once, but y'all, it happens gradually. And because of that, because of a full calendar, listen to these. You know, maybe our times of prayer gets rushed. Even around the table, our prayer gets rushed. Time with God gets postponed back to the back burner. Rest, oh my goodness, well, it feels optional. Family time becomes fragmented. And the soul, our soul, begins to really just feel the weight of it all. It's like nothing is wrong, but something is missing. Folks, this is where Jesus' words there in Mark 8:26, it's where they land with real weight. Again, Jesus asked the question, what good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? You know, overcommitment can look like gaining the world, gaining the entire world while quietly losing the soul. Life looks full, maybe on the outside, with all that you have going on. But on the inside, the heart is running on empty. You know, Jesus reminds us that no amount of activity, no amount of success, and/or no amount of accomplishment is worth the cost of a drained soul. Y'all, I hope what I just said speaks volumes to you. That's what Jesus is saying to us. Let's move on to the second main point today. This one is titled, Guard Your Heart from People Pleasing. Guard your heart from that, from people pleasing. Let me ask you, and with this question, let me say you do not have to raise your hand, okay? But how many of y'all would tell me or would say that you tend to be a people pleaser? Just think about it. Do you like to please people? Do you like to please folks? Like you don't like disappointing anybody. You want everyone to be happy. You say yes, even though you know you should say no. People pleasing isn't about being kind. It's about needing approval. It's the quiet pressure to meet expectations so no one is upset, that no one is uncomfortable, and that no one is even let down. And if we're being honest, there are a lot of people in this life that we try to please, aren't there? I want you right now I like how this happened a couple weeks ago, but shout out people that we try to please in this life. Who are they? Just shout them out. Man, all right. I've heard some of these as you're talking. And some of these, what I'm about to read, maybe you just said, but bosses, co-workers, teachers, coaches, parents, spouses, your kids, friends, church leaders, and get this one, even strangers on social media. You try to please. Hey, we adjust our schedules when it comes to this. We adjust our schedules. We adjust our words. And sometimes even our convictions to keep the peace. To keep the peace, or hey, even to maintain an image that you have with somebody. It doesn't always look dramatic. It often looks responsible, people pleasing. It looks responsible. It looks polite. It looks cooperative. But over time, this thing, people pleasing, over time, it drains your soul. It drains the soul. People pleasing shifts our focus from faithfulness to performance. Instead of asking, am I being faithful to what God has called me to do? We start asking this instead. Hey, did I make so-and-so happy? That's what we do. And I love this line. I hope it sticks out to you. But, sometimes life becomes a stage. Life becomes a stage. And the heart, our heart, it becomes exhausted from constantly trying to meet expectations that were never meant to define who we are. And when the heart craves approval, the same peace that we like, having peace in our lives, peace becomes impossible. When the heart craves approval. There is always another opinion. There's always another or some other expectation. There's always someone else out there for us to satisfy. The goalposts in our lives, they keep moving. And rest, well, it becomes elusive. Rest becomes elusive. Hey, write this down. This is not in your outlines today, but write this down. You cannot rest. You can't rest when your worth, when your self-worth is tied to how others respond to you. You can't rest when your worth is tied to how others respond to you. That's why in Proverbs 4:23, this is why that passage speaks. This is why Solomon speaks into this very struggle. Again, he says, above all else, he tells us to guard our hearts, for everything that we do flows from it. When we allow others' expectations, when we allow those expectations to fill and to move into us, into our hearts, they begin to shape the direction of our own lives. Guarding your heart means deciding whose voice gets access to the center of who we are. Because when approval takes the place of purpose, the soul begins to run on empty. Think about that this morning. Think about, maybe your desire to be a people pleaser. Think about all that. All right, let's move on to our third and final point. This one is titled, Guard Your Heart from Unresolved Grief and Anxiety. Guard your heart from unresolved grief and anxiety. Folks, let me tell you, unresolved pain, it doesn't just disappear. It doesn't. Unaddressed grief and anxiety doesn't vanish. Just doesn't vanish with time. What it does is it quietly builds up. It drains our energy, it steals our joy, and it just really weighs down the soul. Sometimes the exhaustion they cause can feel heavier. It can feel heavier than the busyness of overcommitting yourself or the pressure of just trying to please somebody. So that you can go through your days just checking the boxes. You go through your days accomplishing tasks that you need to do. Maybe you're smiling on the outside, but on the inside, on your inside, the heart, your heart, it feels heavy. It feels worn. It feels restless. And grief and anxiety, they weigh most heavily too when they are carried alone, when they are carried by yourself. I want you to think about it. Who do you have? Who do you have in your life when life hurts? Who do you have? Who listens when worry keeps you awake at night? Who holds your hand when your heart feels too heavy to carry? Y'all, God created us. He created us for community. He created us for support. You know, some burdens are simply too heavy to carry by ourselves. Yet too often, we bury our grief. We bury our grief. We ignore anxiety. And we try to handle it all on our own. On our very own. You know, in these situations, people, hey, maybe even yourself. In these situations, they say, I'll get through whatever it is eventually. I'll get through it eventually. But what we, like I said, maybe even you, what we bury quietly leaks into every single part of our life. Look at Proverbs 4:23 one more time. I'm not going to read it. It's just going to be up here on the screens. You know, folks, guarding your heart here isn't just about avoiding bad influences or saying no to the wrong things. It also means tending to the emotional and the spiritual wounds that we carry around. It means being honest with God. And it means being honest with trusted people about what hurts, about what we're suffering with, about what life has thrown at us. It means allowing God's presence, His comfort, and His healing to meet the pain in our hearts instead of letting it quietly control us. When we guard our hearts from unresolved grief and anxiety, the soul is allowed to breathe again. Yes, it might need some help, but the soul is allowed to breathe again. Also, with that, you know, strength returns. When we share, when we give it to God, when we share with other people, strength returns. Our perspective shifts. And most importantly, life begins to flow from God. To flow from God instead of running us empty. Hey, no matter how heavy the burden feels today, God invites us. He invites you, He invites me to bring it to Him and to trusted companions, because guarding our hearts includes caring for the hidden places, what is inside of us, for caring for the hidden places that matter the most. Hey, as we conclude and we wrap up today, let's remember the picture that these two passages, that these two scripture verses have painted for us. You know, in that first one, in the Mark passage, Jesus warns us about losing the soul, showing us the hidden cost of life without awareness of what truly matters. And then Solomon in the Proverbs passage, on the other hand, he taught us how to protect it. Solomon shared through that Proverbs passage how to protect it, reminding us that everything in life flows from the condition of our heart, of the heart. Today we've been reminded that guarding our hearts isn't optional. It's not optional, it's essential. Guarding our hearts is essential for protecting our souls. God doesn't shame us for feeling drained or worn out. I talked about that a lot last week. He doesn't shame us for being drained and wore out. He doesn't scold us for noticing the warning lights on our soul's dashboard, on our life dashboard. He doesn't scold us for that. Instead, He invites us to live differently. God wants us to pause. He wants us to reflect and to take steps that protect the heart and also take steps that restore the soul. As we intentionally guard our hearts, as we do this from overcommitting, from trying to please folks, and from unresolved grief and anxiety, God begins, y'all, He begins the work of restoring us. He begins the work of restoration. He restores our energy. He restores our perspective. And He teaches us a better way to live. This is restoration, where life flows from Him, from God, instead of just draining us dry. So today, when we leave here in a little while, let's leave with a renewed commitment. Folks, I pray right now from this sermon that you will notice what is draining your soul. And let me just challenge you. Guard your heart. Guard your heart and trust God. Just trust in God to restore what has been lost. When you do that or try to work on that, hey, you're not just surviving, you're truly living. Think about that today as you leave. Let's pray together. God, today I just want to thank you. God, I feel like all of us want to thank you for showing us today, what drains our souls. God, maybe we've been thinking about situations, people, or busy calendars, all that kind of stuff. We've been hopefully thinking about what's been draining our souls. But God, today you have kind of called us out on that. But you have also told us today how to guard our hearts. God, I pray that we can do that. God, just forgive us. Forgive us for the times that we've let overcommitment, people-pleasing, just trying to please everyone. And or unresolved grief, anxiety, pain, all these things just take root in our lives. Forgive us for that. God, teach us. Teach us today to just protect our hearts and to trust in you with all the things, God, that we carry. We got to follow the better way. We got to follow the great way. God, the way that only you provide. God, I pray that we can do that. God, I ask you today that you can restore us, restore our strength. God, just renew our peace, the peace that we need in our lives. And God, I pray that you can just fill our souls with your life so that we can always live fully with you and not be running on empty. God, let us just live fully in you. God, I pray all this in your Son, Jesus' awesome name. Amen. Hey, maybe you need to hear that this morning, this message. I'm sure the things that spoke about, the overcommitment, the people-pleasing, the grief, anxiety, stuff like that I know you have in your lives. Maybe you just need that little challenge to just guard your heart. So hopefully today, first of all, you put all these things out on the table of what's taking your time, what's causing your soul to be drained, what's causing you to run on empty. But friends, just be in prayer about that. Find accountability. Find people that will help you in your journey, whatever it is. But guard your heart. Hey, if you need prayer for anything this morning, please come see me as we sing this closing song, the song of invitation. I know a lot of you have stuff going on. So, hey, just know that I, along with our church's leadership, hey, we pray for you. We pray for you. But let's stand together and let's sing this closing song.